What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. Want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, Litecoin, and Digibyte. Those are the five we're going to be going over today, and we're going to be looking at them on the one-day time frame. And I want to piggyback off Bitcoin's video we did last night on the 4-hour time frame. What we were talking about, was a potential back test of this white trend line that we had broken out through. And if we do properly back test that, which happens a lot of the time, that could bring us back up to around that $11,500 region. What I like to see is that our 100 moving average here in pink is being defended, and we're getting a strong candle off that with some decent volume. We're about average right now, but we still have a decent amount of time, about another 7 hours or so before we get that daily candle close. So right now we're going up and we're challenging this 60 moving average in green, and we're also trying to get through this 30 EMA. But it's nice to see that we are having some volume coming in and we're getting pushed to the upside, because after a big break like this, and when you consolidate sideways, you can really break either direction. That downward, almost like a bear flag, or we can get one of those BART patterns in the crypto space, since this candle was so long, where we basically make it up on the backside and then we get back to where we were testing that white trend line. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. On the stock, we're at 40 and 34 right now. Overhead resistance on the stock is going to be up around 61. And you can see where we basically double top there and we fell back again. So that's going to be an overhead resistance area I'm going to look at there, and it may even correlate up here around this 30 EMA for resistance. But if we could close the candle basically how we would today, that would be a bullish engulfing candle right there, and that would be something significant for us if we can get some higher volume on that, and that may give us a shot to get up there and start testing that $11,000 region as well. If we take a look here in trading view, the technicals, we have a 9 sell, 10 neutral, 9 buy, oscillators, 2 sell, 9 neutral, 0 buy, moving average getting to that neutral. So you can see we've been getting back and fighting to that neutral area now, and this is where we're just going to have to see if the bulls can continue to push us up through some of these higher levels, or if the bears are going to jump in all over us once we do get to some of those higher levels that we've been to before, like that trend line potentially. But we're gaining back here. We're fighting hard. 9 sell, 10 neutral, and a 9 buy. So pretty much neutral right now. We're just going to have to pay attention to this. Still up above the 100, up above the 200 moving average, like we talked about, below the 30 and the 60 right now. So that's going to be Bitcoin, guys. If you get some from that, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to move into Ethereum next. Take a look at ETH. ETH's at $380. And what we're having happen with ETH here, we're not getting a big push of volume, and that's the thing I'm concerned with here. Okay, so with ETH, we had this big fall from about, we'll call it $500, $488, $500. We fell down, and now this reaction that we've been having out of here, it hasn't been on massive volume like we had back in this area when we really got a push to the upside. So this is something I'm going to be keeping my eye on here. We're fighting to hold this 60 and trying to get through this 30 again and get back up through it. Now, at any time, the bulls could step in. The whales, when these moves happen, they happen very fast. A lot of times the moves are, one day candle, like this last one. We went from 279 all the way up to 310 in the matter of one day. So you can really get those big candles back to the upside. And if we do start pushing out of here and we can get a little bit more volume, I'm going to look at $388 is overhead resistance, and it's going to be up around that $400 psychologically, and then that $417. In terms of support, we want to continue to hold that $332 that we've been looking at for the longest time now. And if we zoom out for ETH, what I really like to look at are the heavy resistance areas, and I think that $417 is going to be a tough one that we're going to have to get back up through, and then it's going to be that $496, $500 right up here, our top of the high that we had just recently. We're going to have to get over top of that if we want this trend to continue to keep going. Remember, it's all about higher highs and higher lows and uptrends there. But if you drew a trend line here, you could see for Ethereum, most likely we are still going to be holding that trend line. So keep an eye on ETH if we get into the technicals for it. We are at a 7 sell, 9 neutral, 12 buy, oscillators, 2 sell, 8 neutral, and a 1 buy. Moving averages, 5 sell, 1 neutral, and 11 buy. Moving averages a little bit ahead of Bitcoin right there, okay? And we found some nice support off that 100. So next we're going to move into Link. Link right now is about $12. I do believe $12.31. So same thing with Link. What's been concerning me just a little bit here, as we've kind of consolidated and moved sideways from this area that we were looking at, these longer wicks, we've just been moving sideways, and we still really haven't had those big swells of volume. You can see in the uptrend, when volume comes into Link right down in this area, it comes in very hard and fast, and these are monstrous sticks, guys, about 3 to 4 times the size of the volume that we're having right now. So if more volume doesn't come in to help us get back up over top of 1392, we may have to fall back and test this 100 moving average again, and that could be around $9.40, even down to this 892, and that's where I've had some bids in 892. And then if we dropped lower to that 200, it'd be around $6.41 right there, because this is just going to take more volume, in my opinion, to really move. Right now, we're trying to defend this 60. We've stayed up above it this entire uptrend, so it would be important at this spot for buying pressure and a lot of volume to come in. That's what I'm going to be looking at. And like I said, overhead resistance areas, if we do get pushed to the upside, we're going to look around $13.92. If we take a look here for the technicals, we have a 12 sell, 10 neutral, 6 buy. Oscillators looking neutral there. Our buy is a momentum, and our sell is a MACD. So that's going to be Link. You like me covering it, guys? Give me a thumbs up there, and we'll keep that one in. Next, we're going to be moving to Litecoin. Litecoin's at $49.29, still trying to reclaim that $50 psychologically. That's kind of like Bitcoin's $10,000, Litecoin's $50, so we need to get back up above that. We've been holding support off this 200 moving average in white, so still fighting to hold that, and that's also going to correlate with our white trend line here. So this should be an area that we can hold. If we don't hold that, I would expect a big break to the downside, because this white trend line is going to be significant. You can see all the wicks, all the defense around it, starting to get a little more volume stepping in here, so we need to keep that moving to the upside, get up above this 100 moving average, which is now acting as overhead resistance, and that's going to be roughly at about $50.13. So that's going to correlate with the round number of 50. If we get up above that, next overhead resistance is going to be at 53.84. Downside, like we said, just holding this white trend line. I would really draw that trend line if I were you guys. And what you want to get with trend lines is as many touches as possible. So even back here, we have 3 little wicks there. Didn't get to it at this point, and then we had all these wicks here. So there's a really large gap here. And sometimes that can show that this trend line will be even stronger than trend lines that are extremely steep and they have a lot of touches all throughout. Sometimes that big white space where you find support can be very important for you. If we take a look at Litecoin right now, we are sitting at a 14 sell, 10 neutral, 4 buy, oscillators 2 sell, 9 neutral, and a 0 buy. Next, we're going to move into Digibyte. Want to throw that in there for all my Digi people here. So Digibyte, what I wanted to point out here, we are getting one of those red crosses, our 30 moving average crossing down through our 60. So we do want to pay attention. Now you can see we've wicked up to it today. A couple days in the past, we wicked up to that area, trying to get back up above this 100 moving average. And you can see, guys, that's why we typically don't want to lose the 100 into 200, because it can be hard to get back up above. When you've held as support for so long, then you break back below it. Now you have to have all that buying pressure to get back up above. And you see the volume's very low right now. So if we fail here, I would look for a potential buy around this 200 moving average if Digibyte drops to the downside. And that'd be at 0.01742. That's where I'd have some bids right in that area if we continue this downside move. Stock right now is at 57 and 57. We're starting to get a little bit of a downside cross here and a longer wick. So let's pay attention to that. In terms of the technicals, we're looking at a 13 sell, 10 neutral, 5 buy, oscillators 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy. And then we have a strong sell for the moving averages, because we have these breaking over top of us right now. And we're below that 100 as well, just holding that 200. So let's really watch some of these areas, guys. If you get some from this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends.